Welcome to Chicago Counterpoint Television. It's a pleasure to be here this Monday evening with Dr. William Martin. We have a great show planned for today with Dr. Martin, who's on the advisory board of the Fatherhood Educational Institute. Great doctor, brilliant doctor, and he's going to talk about paternal parenting for healthy children. Dr. Martin is going to talk about how he fights to protect children from diabetes, cancer, and other health-related issues because of obesity. Obesity is a terrible epidemic, destroying and harming our children in America. And this is what we're here to talk about today, how fathers can protect their children. And it's not difficult, but it is difficult if we don't try. So this show is going to be focused on protecting children. And if anybody wants any information on the Fatherhood Educational Institute before we start, you can always go on our website at fatherhood-edu.org, and you can see part of the website on your screen. You can see there's a photo of me and Congressman Danny K. Davis, my good friend. And also, if you want to contact the Chicago Counterpoint television show, the Fatherhood Educational Institute, you can always call 312-795-9060, 312-795-9060. But it's really a pleasure to be here with Dr. Martin. And also keep in mind, the Fatherhood Educational Institute does have a Twitter and a Facebook page, which Jennifer Whiteside put together with Jen Everett. They really know this, how social media works. And here it is, at Fatherhood EDU. That's the Fatherhood Educational Institute's Twitter. And the Facebook is Fatherhood Educational Institute, right on your screen. So please check out FEI's Twitter and Facebook. I'm a lawyer, not a social media expert, but Jennifer and Jen, they really know social media, and it's great to have them here. And it's really super to have you here, Doctor.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you coming here Monday night and volunteering your time to help, because this is really important, Doctor. And one thing I'm wondering is, how can fathers help their children instill healthy habits for the rest of their life so they don't end up with diabetes or cancer or other health issues? What can parents do?
Well, first, parents have to start drinking water in front of their kids. They have to be the leaders of that. They have to start at changing their habits. You know, once the child sees a parent drinking more water, drinking milk, drinking diet drinks that are not soda. So that's one way.
Yeah, that's important, because unfortunately, I don't drink a lot of water, and my daughters are complaining that I don't drink a lot of water because, unfortunately, I have diabetes, so I better start listening to you and drinking a lot of water.
Please, drink a lot of water.
Instead of all these sugary sodas.
You got to stop that, Jeffrey. I didn't know that. Sorry to hear that. That's diabetes. One of the issues that I have, the reason I got into this was my uncle passed from diabetes. My grandmother her kidneys failed. So,
wow.
And I know she drank a lot of soda. Soda causes 60%. Matter of fact, 60% of our audience right now viewing this have diabetes or have been affected by a sugary drink in some way, whether it's cancers, diabetes, where it's cardiovascular, deep, even sleep apnea. That's how tough sugar is on your body. Try to drink tea that is with no sugar, just lemon and tea, lemon and water, or fruit and water.
Yeah,
cucumber and water.
I just came back from Columbia, South Carolina, and every glass of tea I had, it was loaded with sugar.
That's right.
Loaded with sugar. They called it sweet tea. No wonder everybody has diabetes.
They used to call diabetes sugar. A long time back, they used to call sugar diabetes. Mm-hmm. Now, we knew that, what sugar caused diabetes. We knew that. That's why they called it sugar diabetes. So the government right now have come in. The health department told the government what is going on with sugar. It's causing these diseases. Let me just give you some numbers.
Now, Doctor, one thing we should do, we have a ton of callers on the line.
Oh, okay.
Would you mind if we took a call?
Please.
All right, because apparently a news release went out announcing you'd be on the show, so that's probably why we have so many callers on hold now. To the first caller, you're on the air with Attorney Jeffrey Leving and Dr. Martin. What can the doctor do for you this evening?
Well, it's great to talk to you, Dr. Martin and Mr. Leving, and I'm really glad you.
Could you speak up a little bit? It's very hard to hear you.
Yeah, I'm a father of 3 daughters, and I have a hard time figuring
And also,
out,
Jennifer, could you turn up the audio, please? Thank you.
I have a hard time finding healthy snack options, and I wondered if the doctor could recommend a resource for
I can't hear.
ideas.
Unfortunately, we can't hear you. If you could call back, I really appreciate it, and I will take the next caller. Could you please put the next caller on the air? Please put the caller on the air. You're on the air, caller, with Attorney Jeffrey Leving and Dr. William Martin.
Yes, hello. I'm wondering if children are more at risk of developing diabetes or even obesity if there's a family history of those diseases.
Well, there is. The doctor will ask you if you have a family history of diabetes, and yes, that has an effect on it. But diabetes also, the major part of diabetes is the things that we consume. Yes, even if you have a family history of it, you can slow the process. You might not ever get it. It's a matter of just taking care of your body and eating and drinking the right things. So don't just assume because, for example, like I said, my uncle, he had diabetes doesn't mean that I don't have diabetes, but I have a history of diabetes. So it can vary.
And sometimes it skips generations. My parents don't have diabetes, but my grandparents did. So sometimes it skips a generation, but if you eat healthy and exercise and take care of yourself, there's a possibility you may not end up with diabetes. And that's why it's so important that parents focus on healthy children, on making sure their children are healthy. And doctor, if a child has already been diagnosed with diabetes, because there's different types of diabetes, there's type 1, type 2, type 1 is much more serious, but if a child has already been diagnosed with diabetes type 2, not type 1, type 2, what can a father do to alleviate the ensuing struggles?
Well, you got to just support your child and still let go of the sugary drinks, let go of the things that the salt and things like that, healthy foods, support your child. And I've seen it before, so it's really just support, strong support from the parents.
Yeah, that's important.
But let me just say the diabetes and is not the only issue here when it comes to sugary drinks. We're talking cancer, we're talking a ton of diseases. We're talking cardiovascular disease, asthma, hypertension, arthritis, sleep apnea, depression, just from drinking sugary drinks. And there's right now Illinois is offering a tax on sugary drinks, not because they want to, it's because they have to, because the health department says, listen, we got a big problem. It's costing $550 billion with this, with diabetes, cancer, and over people are overweight and the diseases that come from it, and going to it's $5 million in Medicaid. Billion with a B.
Well, that's a heck of a lot. We have another caller for you, Doctor. Could you please put the caller on the air, Jennifer? You're on the air with Attorney Jeffrey Leving, and we're here with Dr. William Martin. Brilliant doctor. We're very fortunate to have him here. He sits on the advisory board of the Fatherhood Educational Institute. What can the doctor do for you this evening?
Well, thanks for taking my call. I'm a father of 3 kids, and we're always struggling to find healthy ideas for snacks and lunches. And I understand staying away from the sugary drinks, but can the doctor recommend any resource or any ideas things that kids would be interested in, but would also be healthy for them?
You know, kids, you know, they always want some sugar or something that they don't need. So it's up to you as a parent to go out there and find the healthy foods. And it's like when I was young, and many of you out there, my mom made me eat spinach. You know what I mean? Made me eat. I couldn't eat nothing but what she gave me. So I suggest you do the research and basically just stay away from too much salt, too much sugar. Eat healthy food that's grown from the earth. Not canned corn is bad for you. Anything that lasts a year on the shelf is not good for you.
Exactly. And when I was growing up, my mom made me eat spinach, and I hated it.
But
And then as I learned more, I realized with some people, spinach can cause kidney stones. And that could be very painful. So if you don't like spinach and you have a problem where it can cause kidney stones, don't eat it. Or one day you'll collapse on the street and you'll be in a big surprise.
for the most part, spinach is okay, and greens and
Yeah, very
and
healthy.
cabbage,
Very healthy.
yeah, bananas,
Most of the time, right.
apples, oranges, things that you would get at a farm, you know, that you can grow from the earth. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Stay away from the canned foods, things like that.
And I have a terrible diet, so I'm the last one to talk about healthy eating. Next caller, you're on the air with Attorney Jeffrey Leving, and I'm here with Dr. William Martin. Brilliant, brilliant doctor. And what can the doctor do for you this evening?
Yes, hello. I'm just wondering how much is considered too much as far as consuming the sugary drinks, particularly for children.
Could you try and speak up a little louder, ma'am? I'd appreciate it. And could you repeat
Yes.
your question?
Sure. How much is considered too much as far as the sugary drinks go?
Well, one 12-ounce soda has six teaspoons of sugar in it. One big gulp of pop or soda or any drink
Excuse me.
has over 42 teaspoons of sugar in it. So, like I said, there is no level. The level of sugar that you would get from fruit is good. You know what I mean? The level of sugar that you would get from an apple is good. But a teaspoon of sugar, sugar, say if you bake a cake, that's okay. Just don't put too much sugar in it. That's all.
Now keep in mind, if your child has type 2 diabetes and you give them too much sugar and their blood sugar skyrockets, they can end up in the emergency room. But the problem is, if their blood sugar drops and they become hypoglycemic, they may need sugar to raise their blood sugar so they can end up in a coma. So it's really important to understand health issues. It's not as simple as you would think. And Dr. Martin is brilliant. He really knows this. And there's also a Dr. Roberts who we're hoping we'll have on the show in the future. Dr. Robert Sobel. I call him Dr. Roberts, but that's I guess not his real name, maybe his nickname. But we hopefully will have him on for a future guest, endocrinologist, brilliant. But Dr. Martin, these are big problems, and the biggest problem I see for parents is they need education on health issues related to parenting their children. And apparently we have another call, doctor, for you. Caller, you're on the air with Attorney Jeffrey Leving and Dr. Martin. What can the doctor do for you this evening?
Hi, I was wondering if there have been any studies done that show that children in a single-parent home have a higher occurrence of diabetes.
Well,
Doctor, this is for you, and I definitely will let you answer it because I couldn't hear him.
I couldn't either. I'm sorry.
Could you try and
Repeat that, please.
and try and speak a little louder? If you want to, just scream. We don't care.
Yeah, I was
All right.
wondering if there have been any studies done that show that children in a single-parent home have a higher occurrence of diabetes.
Not that I know of. I don't see that being a factor, being a single parent or both parents in the home for diabetes.
Yeah, I did do some research on health, psychological issues with children, and children that are fatherless, do have greater health issues. And if you look at my book, Father's Rights, pages 46 and 47, there's some good information on there, because children that are father absent are more likely to have academic problems, do poor academically. Children that are father absent
makes sense,
are
yeah.
more likely to engage in crime. It's terrible. There's so many terrible statistics. Little girls that are father absent are more likely to become victims of abuse. So there's terrible statistics. And a lot of these, unfortunately, are related to poor health. Next caller, you're on the air with Attorney
Hello.
Jeffrey Leving and Dr. Martin. What can the doctor do for you?
Well, a gentleman that I work with is divorced, and said to me that his ex-wife is taking the children.
Please
out of
talk,
state.
speak louder. It's really hard to hear you. Just pretend you're yelling at someone, because we want to hear your question.
Okay. A gentleman I work with who's divorced just told me the wife and the new husband, the ex-wife and the new husband, is taking the children out of state for the job. Can they do that?
Oh, that's for you.
Yeah, I could hear part of it, but what I'm hearing is that there is a mother that wants to take the children out of state. And the
Correct.
problem is, in situations like that, they can, and unfortunately, they too often are based on parental alienation to destroy the relationship between the dad and his children. There are cases where mothers have taken children to other countries. We worked on a case where the mother took the little girl to Shanghai, to China. Well, another case where the mother kidnapped the children, parentally kidnapped the children, and took them to Egypt, to Cairo, Egypt.
Wow.
These are really bad cases. And there you really need a sharp lawyer who's familiar with international parental kidnappings and how to stop them, because you want to stop them before they start. And if you need any information on that, you can always take a look at the Fatherhood Educational Institute's website, which you're looking at now, or call 312-795-9060. Caller, you're on the air with Attorney Jeffrey Leving and Dr. William Martin. What can the doctor do for you this evening?
Hi, I just have a general question. Do grandparents have any right to participation?
Absolutely, and I discussed that with Dr. Martin at a Fatherhood Educational Institute board meeting. They do. Now, there was a time when they didn't. Laws changed, but they do. And grandparents should not give up hope when they're seeking to protect their grandchildren, because sometimes you can have two biological parents that may not be capable, and you may need two good grandparents to step in. If you need any more information on that, look at the Fatherhood Educational Institute's website, fatherhood-edu.org, and call 312-795-9060, and you can call that number if you have any more questions for Dr. Martin. But thank you for calling. We appreciate your call, and I have a whole bunch of questions for Dr. Martin here on obesity and how fathers can help their children and protect their health. But apparently we're loaded with calls, so I'm going to try and get them all on the air, Doctor.
That was fine. Great.
Caller, you're on the air with Attorney Leving and Dr. Martin.
Yes,
On the air.
I'm a single dad, and I'm just wondering if there are any certain activities I can use as sort of an educational experience to teach my son, how to have better healthy habits.
Could you just repeat that and talk loud? There's something wrong with the audio.
She said she wanted to teach her son any type of activities to teach her son how to have better healthy habits.
Okay, well, that would be great for you, Doctor.
Well, again, as a parent, we want to lead by example. We want to make it fun, if you can. There are some examples of that. If you have Twitter, One Small Change, at One Small Change, go there. There's some ideas on healthy eating. Or you can email me at givingtopeopleinnneed@gmail.com. Also send you out some stuff. There's some other callers, I believe. And so just email me at givingtopeopleinnneed@gmail.com.
And that's a not-for-profit.
Yes, a nonprofit.
It's a not-for-profit,
nonprofit.
just so you know. What Dr. Martin does is focus on giving back, and he's working with more than one nonprofit organization, but the Fatherhood Educational Institute is one that's really dear to my heart. Caller, you're on the air with Attorney Jeffrey Leving and Dr. Martin. What can the doctor do for you this evening?
Yeah, I heard you talking earlier about diabetes in children, and I was wondering, with young children, is there a screening, or is there somewhere, we just talk to the pediatrician, or is there a place we can go to get a screening for diabetes to see if they're at risk or if they have it?
I suggest you talk to a pediatrician, and get tested. Why do you believe that? I mean, can I ask a question?
No, I just,
Oh, yeah,
no, I know it's a big.
please. Why do you believe this may be an issue?
Oh, I just know you were mentioning statistics and that it affects a lot of children, so I didn't know if that was something that kids should be screened for as a precaution, to see if they're at risk.
Well, go ahead, Joe.
The screening is relatively simple. All your doctor really has to do is prick one of your children's finger, a tiny bit of blood comes out, and you test the blood for sugar. It's very simple. 80 to 120 is normal. If it's over 120 or under 80, that's not good. If it's if it's really under 80, if it's really low, you'll know because you're gonna have some problems. If it's under 80, serious problems could happen, and whether it's with a child or an adult.
Yeah.
That's when somebody can end up in a coma. Terrible. And if it's way above 120, I mean, if it's as high as 300 or 350 or 400, there's a problem, and you really need a heck of a good doctor. And an endocrinologist specializes in diabetes, an endocrinologist. So if you have a good internist, your internist will probably refer you to a good endocrinologist. But this is really, really important. If you think your children have diabetes, get to a good doctor. For instance, if you have a child and your child's urinating all night long and can't sleep, and the child is constantly getting up and going to the washroom and urinating, that could be an indication of diabetes. But then again, I'm a lawyer, and that's what I do. I practice law. I'm not a doctor. You need a doctor for that. Caller, you're on the air with Attorney Jeffrey Leving, and I'm here with Dr. William Martin. What can the doctor do for you this evening?
Well, actually, I have a question about child support. My son is paying child support, but he lost his job, and so he can't pay, so he won't be getting in trouble for that, will he?
He lost his job. He can't pay. He better get into court with a pleading to either reduce or abate child support. Abate means end it. Support doesn't end by itself during the minority of a child unless a court order does it. If nothing is done, the support will continue to accumulate statutory interest, 9% statutory interest by law, and then one day this man may be facing jail time defending a petition for rule to show cause prosecuted by the state's attorney's office. The state's attorney's office prosecutes people like this for free. So it doesn't cost any money to the custodial parent to prosecute somebody who may be dead broke. Not fair. The world isn't fair. That's why you have to know your legal rights. Education is critical. You need to study. You need to read everything you can read about the world around you. It's not IQ, it's EQ. Emotional intelligence is more important than IQ as I see it. So yes, something has to be done to reduce or abate the child support in court with a court order. or this man could end up in jail. But thank you for calling, and if you need any more information, Fatherhood Educational Institute, fatherhood-edu.org. You want to contact Dr. Martin about health issues, obesity, 312-795-9060. And we really appreciate you calling, because this is really an important show, because a lot of our shows are focused more on legal issues. This one is focused really primarily, or the intent was to focus it on parenting, paternal parenting, to protect children from obesity, from diabetes, from cancer, and other health-related issues. So this is a very
One
unique show.
simple change, and that's your sugary drinks. There's a tax on file for 1% per ounce on the sugary drinks. I suggest you call, if you know someone that, and I'm sure you do, that has diabetes or cancer or anything that's caused by drinking soda, call your senator, your representative, and tell them to vote yes on that tax. It's not because they want to, it's because they have to. The public is not stopping. It's like when people were smoking. They found the problem, the politicians had to get involved and change the laws. That's what's happening with your sugary drinks. So I'm suggesting that you call your representative and say, vote yes. If you know someone that is affected by sugary drinks, get involved. If you're affected by sugary drinks, get involved. If you feel that it's a problem, obesity, cancer, arthritis, gout, all these affected are a result of all this sugar that our kids are drinking, that we're drinking. It's not because, again, it's because the health department told the politicians what's happening, how much it's costing, and then the politicians said, this is what we're going to do. Illinois is not the only state. There are 30 other states that have already passed it. So, thank you.
And thank you. And Doctor, what are healthy alternatives to consuming sugary drinks? Because a lot of children are addicted to sugary drinks.
Right?
And unfortunately, we have to wrap it up now. I'm sorry.
Drink more water, and if you want to put fruit in your water, cucumbers, lemons, drink more water, salsa, low-fat milk products, and things like that.
All right, well, Doctor, it was great having you on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Brilliant, really brilliant. It's an honor to have you on the show.
The honor is mine.
And I'd like to let everybody know, you could follow the Fatherhood Educational Institute at Fatherhood EDU, or check out its Facebook, Fatherhood Educational Institute. And keep in mind that this show is really important in educating the Chicagoland public on the importance of justice, free speech, father's rights, children's rights, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and today, healthy parenting. And I really appreciate you tuning in. This is a great audience. We've been doing this show for many, many years, and it's great to give back to this great city of Chicago, the state of Illinois. And I want to thank everyone for watching, and keep in mind, if you couldn't get on today, tune in to Power 92.3 FM, 92.3 FM, Power 92 this Saturday at 9 a.m. I'll be on. I'll take your calls, or just call back next week, same time, same place. So I'll look forward to seeing everybody here again, same time, same place on this great show next week, and have a great evening. God bless.